Hi everyone, I'm Logan from FanAmp and I'm here with Maral. Welcome, it's so nice to have you on.
Thank you very much. Hi, everybody.
We are so excited to have Maral on today because we are trying to highlight different female drivers for International Women's Month. So today we're going to learn a little bit more about your story, how you got into racing, any inspirations, challenges you may have faced. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Yes, I'm excited.
I guess my first question is pretty simple, but it's just how and when did you get into racing?
My racing journey started basically in 2022, I think, really slow. And it's pretty much everything is connected to Formula Woman. They are like my channel to motorsport. And yeah, everything started back then with a TikTok video. I saw them looking for drivers that want to get into racing but didn't have a chance to. And so yeah, that's how I started with them.
So you saw them through TikTok. Had you ever heard of Formula Women before or no?
No, I haven't. So I was scrolling on TikTok and I saw this video, and they were like, "Oh, you want to get into racing, but you don't know how. You don't need a lot of money. You just need a driver's license. You need to be 18. That's all you need." I was like, "What's that?" And then I looked into it. Then I signed up, and I actually signed up for a competition, but I didn't know that at first. And yeah, I did. A couple months later, I did a boot tour with them. It was basically like an introduction to motorsport, and you just got to see like track days, and we went to the sim and we went karting, so you just get like a glimpse of what motorsport was like. And yeah, that was really addicting. And after that, I attended a lot of track days with them, so I did everything with them. And yeah, after the track days, I did the competition in November, and I made it through to the finals. I didn't get further, but the finals were really great for me and a great accomplishment for like the start of my race career. Yeah.
Wow. So had you ever done any sort of racing before Formula Women, or was that like your
No,
first time stepping in the car?
that was my first time. Especially like in my family, no one has anything to do with racing. I didn't grow up karting. I never watched Formula One like prior to like maybe 4 years ago. I started watching it. And like no one in my family has ever had anything to do with racing. I'm like the first one, so I'm the odd one out. And yeah, so that was my first time, yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's quite the story because I feel like most people have, like, if they're trying to get into it, they somehow had some sort of previous experience or someone in their
Mhm.
family's really into it. So I guess, like, what made you want to apply? When you saw that TikTok video, what went through your mind that you were like, oh, I need to do this? Like, why were you so interested in it?
I was always someone that very like interested in just driving. When I turned 18, the only thing I wanted was to get my driver's license. So driving was really like just something that made me really exciting. And since motorsport is was banned in Switzerland for quite a long time, so it's absolutely nothing prominent here. You don't, apart from karting and some like hill climb races, you can't really do anything. So it really like never popped up in my head like I could go racing. It's not as common as it is in the UK, for example.
Mhm.
And so I never really thought about it. And after like starting to watch F1 again, I was like, oh, this is so cool. Imagine if I could do that. But Switzerland, no chance. We don't even have a racetrack. And I don't know what TikTok algorithm was listening to me, but this video just popped up randomly and just looked into it. And I was like, it does sound really cool and easy,
Mhm.
and why not give it a shot? And now here I am.
Wow, good for you. That's
Yeah.
amazing. I love that story. Were you based in the UK at the time, or did you go from Switzerland to the UK?
No, I still live in Switzerland. I traveled a lot back and forth all the time. Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's commitment for sure.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So you did like an initial boot camp, you said it was, or a boot tour. What did that consist of?
So I think the first day we just met, everyone arrived, and then the next day we went to the track at Bedford, and you just got to sit in like normal BMWs and just like get a feeling of how it is like to drive on a track with cars around you. And then we were also allowed to get like hot laps in a Jaguar, and there was like a driver, Jody. She was driving us around, and you really got to see like what it's like if you go fast. And then the next day we went to the simulator, and at iZone, and it just, yeah, how simulators are. You just get to get a feeling of the driving, the track, and everything, and you don't have like the fear factor of hitting something.
Yeah.
And then the last day we went go-karting at Daytona, and it was really fun because I haven't really been karting ever.
Mhm.
And yeah, getting to know all of these girls, and everyone is like sharing their experiences and the same passion. That was really fun and really great to meet all of these beautiful women.
Yeah, that's amazing. Were there a lot of women in the same kind of situation as you that had never had like previous experience, or were there a couple that kind of knew what they were doing?
A lot of them didn't have any prior experience. Some did, and some, like, I think there was one girl that actually did the competition a year prior and just wanted to like get back into it, because I think that was the first boot tour they ever hosted. But yeah, everyone had like a different story. Some grew up karting, some didn't, some just were very, very interested in motorsport from the beginning, some work in the industry, and yeah, it was really completely different stories all over.
What did your family say when you told them that you signed up for some racing competition in the UK? Were they like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, I think that's a good question. So I think my dad is more supportive than my mom is, because for my mom, it's scary for her if I tell her about, oh, I'm going over 200 into a corner, and she's like, don't tell me that. She's like very worried about it. I understand that it's not easy for a mom if your kid is doing something very dangerous. It's a dangerous sport. You can't like say, oh, it's just, yeah, we have a helmet. That's not gonna save you from massive accidents. And I think now it's my second year in the sport, so they got used to it a bit more. My dad is much more supportive, and he was like, oh, I want to come to your races. But my mom is still like, I don't want to hear anything about it. But the rest of my family and like all of my friends or my coworkers, they are very like interested and so amazed that I'm doing that, and they're like, wow, this is so cool. You have to invite us to a race, and I want to watch it.
Yeah.
Well, because no one really knows anyone in Switzerland that races, and then it's a girl that races, and it's just extra special. Yeah.
I didn't realize that motorsport was so like non-existent in Switzerland for some reason, because I feel like that's where like Valtteri and Alfa Romeo kind of was based. I feel like, so I kind of just assumed that they had a bigger motorsport population.
Yeah, it was banned back then in 1953. I don't want to say the wrong number. There was this massive crash at Le Mans, and then they banned it here. I don't know why. The crash was in a different country, but since then it has been banned. There were Formula One races in Switzerland, but the track doesn't exist anymore because it was like through a town. And yeah, it never really came back. I don't know. I think it's legal since maybe like 1 or 2 years, but we don't have a track. But maybe in a couple years, someone decides to go ahead and push the sport in our country, and maybe we can build a track and go ahead from there. But I don't know if anything is planned yet.
Okay, that's so interesting to me. um, so you said that you only kind of started watching Formula One like 4-ish years ago. I was wondering if you had like a female inspiration, like a female racing driver who kind of inspired you to get into anything. But I guess based on what you've kind of just told me, it almost seems like it was just fully like self-inflicted.
Yeah, it is. So I grew up doing a lot of sports. So I did soccer, and I did track and field for a very long time. But even then, I didn't really have like an idea. Of course, you look up to like the very successful sportsmen, but yeah, I think even in this, where I am now, I don't really have someone I look up to, but I look up to all of them that achieved like great things. Like if I look at the girls in the F1 Academy, I'm like so happy and so proud that they get the chance to do that, and I'm like so happy for them. And I look up to that they were able to reach that level, and it makes me want to reach that level as well. And that's basically what I look up to. But it's not like a specific woman
I love that though, and I think just kind of you put it best, like looking up to anyone who's doing it. Like it's a step in the right direction, and
Mhm.
it's kind of hard. There aren't really like specific people that I feel like girls have someone to look up to. There's been no Formula One female racing
Mhm.
driver, not recently at
Exactly.
least.
Mhm.
Um, and there's people in the administrative positions, but I feel like they don't get highlighted enough. So
Mhm. Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
just, yeah, I agree. It's just anyone who's putting themselves out there is
Mhm.
an inspiration, I would say.
Exactly. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
exactly that.
What has kind of been some of the biggest challenges that you've faced since you've joined the sport?
From the competitive racing that I did so far, I haven't experienced anything negative. Um, luckily, yeah.
Mhm.
But I think the main issue, I think everyone struggles with, also men,
Yeah.
is the sponsoring. It's just the funding of this sport is the most expensive sport I could have chosen. Um, it's really hard to fund it, and especially in Switzerland, where the sport is absolutely not prominent. People do know about racing, but they just connect everything with Formula One and not with everything else. And then there's this girl that wants to go racing, but she has no prior experience, and it's just a bit, yeah, it's
Yeah.
really hard. And you just have to try to get sponsors through connections. And luckily, I have a sponsor, but one only gets you so far, so I need to look for other sponsors, and it's really challenging and nerve wracking. Just trying to sell yourself when you know, oh, you don't have like a whole list of all your wins and everything.
Yeah.
You just kind of need to find someone that believes in a woman, that wants to go racing, that wants to go big. But yeah, it's really hard right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Can you walk me through the process of getting a sponsor? I feel like I wouldn't even know where to start if I was trying to get into racing. Like, how do you approach different sponsorships? How do you, like you said, sell yourself to a company or a
hmm
brand?
So, what I started to do is look for companies that have something to do with motorsport in some sort, either with cars or like retailers or whatever. And then you should have a deck where you present yourself and what you did so far and what your goals are and what are your qualifications. If you have a lot of races, you should list them as well, and then you should also offer them some. I know we can't offer them like a lot, but most of the companies just need like media representation or like ambassadors or something like that, and you just have to offer that.
Mhm.
And for some companies, it's a fit, and for some it's not. And for some, it depends how much followers you have on social media, and there's like various factors, and they just maybe they're looking for specific types of drivers, or they already have enough drivers for the year. And yeah, it's just like trying to get it out there, present yourself, and be determined and be sure of what you're doing, and then you eventually will find someone that is willing to support you on your way. Yeah.
Wow, it's quite the process.
It is, yeah.
When you kind of like realized that you wanted to keep racing, like after you got, I guess, the bug, you got the racing excitement, was it easy to kind of talk to the other women who had gone through the Formula Woman process for them to talk you through other series? Like, how did you go about finding different racing series or competitions to sign up for?
So all the racing I did so far was still through Formula Woman,
Okay.
and I haven't really done too much yet. I did 2 sprint races yet last year with Javelin, like the Javelin Sprint Series they have in the UK, and that was pretty much it. And the good thing about the UK is that they have so many series and cups and everything, so you can just do something without having too much experience prior,
Mhm.
which is really great. So you can actually get experience. Last year we also did a race in Silverstone, but I wasn't able to attend, but some other girls did. And yeah, so far I only did the sprint races, but this year I don't really know what's planned for this year, but I'm still like, I'm not an official driver of Formula Woman,
Right.
but I'm doing this Jaguar Project 8 project. It's like 2 cars that they converted to race cars, and we get to race them, me and 4 other girls. But I think now they're pretty much open to everyone. And yeah, we just use that for competitive racing, but I don't quite know what's planned for this year. But yeah, we'll see it. There's this. So the main event for this year in racing is the Nations Cup in December. And yeah, I think it will be announced on March 8th as well. It's a pretty big day. Yeah, exactly. That's the main event for this year.
And you'll be a part of that?
Yeah. As a finalist, if you qualify in the competition as a finalist, for like the 50 finalists, you were eligible to take part in the Nations Cup.
Okay.
So if you did the competition and made it to the final 50, we had a second like track time setting where we just had to get back out in the car and drive a couple laps just to like get assessed again, and then you were good to go. You've technically already we were already qualified in the same week we did the competition. Yeah.
Wow, that is so exciting. And it's in the Middle East, right?
Exactly.
Oh
Dubai.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Will that be the biggest event that you've participated in?
Yeah,
Yes.
so far, yeah. I'm really excited. I'm not scared, but I'm really like starting to get nervous for it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's such a big setting and a big track, and it's just a different level to what I am used to. But I'm very, very excited for it.
It'll be amazing. And I spoke with Graham and Shanna, and they were telling me how it's going to be broadcasted and everything like that. So it's so exciting to know that an event like that, that's featuring 50 women, is going to be able to be like showcased, and people will be able to watch it and learn more about it.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That is so exciting, and I can't wait for you to get there. I'm sure the anticipation is killing you.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, I was really waiting for it. It was postponed a couple times, so I got really nervous. Like, oh my god, when is it gonna happen? But now it's like set date, and we really are working for it right now.
Wow, that's incredible. So leading up to that, are there going to be training days? Do you have to get there like a couple weeks early, or are you kind of just showing up and racing? How is that process going to work?
No, so everyone is required to get at least a bit of training in the cars that we're gonna drive Radical SR3s.
Okay.
And everyone is required to get some training in those cars, just because it would be too dangerous if there's too many different levels of experience on the track, and just the risk of having accidents and everything would just be too high. And yeah, so Formula Woman is hosting like track days with Radical in the UK. I haven't done it yet. I'll see when I'm planning on doing that. But there's also a chance to fly out to Dubai a couple weeks prior to train on the track. And I think some are just we have to fly in a couple days early as well, anyway, and then there's training and everything the week before, and yeah.
Okay, wow. That's going to be a lot. That's going to be so exciting, though.
Yeah, I am. I'm really excited. It's so crazy to grasp it. It's like such a big, massive event, and I've never seen anything like that before. So, yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, you're going to meet so many people too, and maybe you'll find a female inspiration out of those.
Maybe, hopefully.
Or maybe you will be the inspiration for everyone else. Who knows?
Oh, hopefully, yeah. For everyone that also is starting like their journey right now and discovering Formula Woman and the track days and the world of motorsport. I just hope that they see the drivers that are like they got somewhere with Formula Woman.
Definitely. It's such an amazing program, and it's been so great talking with you because, like I said, I spoke with Graham and Shanna, and they kind of gave me the foundations of everything, but I was so anxious to talk to someone who's been through the program. Like, it's amazing to hear your story and how much you love it and how much they supported you, and now you're doing the Nations Cup in the Middle East, like, with 49 other women. That's incredible. So, yeah, your story is so great, and I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, me too. Really exciting, yeah.
What do you think is one of your biggest like dreams or goals moving forward as a woman in motorsport?
I definitely want to get into more competitive racing. Um, I have been a guest at a Porsche race last year, because in Switzerland we have like these Porsche um, sellers, and they each of them, not everyone, but some of them have their own race team, and we have like this Swiss Porsche Cup, and they just travel around. They have like 6 races a year, some in Italy, some in France, some in Germany or Austria, where it's just like a Porsche racing thing. It's competitive, yeah, but it's not something too big. But I really would like to get into that because I'm really interested in Porsche.
Hmm.
But yeah, it does take some more experience for that, and of course more funding. But it's definitely a goal for the next couple of years.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So, with Formula Women, how many different types of cars have you driven? Or have they all been kind of the same?
Um, I've driven BMWs. They're pretty basic, normal street cars. The Jaguars, and I think that was pretty much it. Yeah, mostly I started in the BMs, and then I switched over to the Jaguars, and I couldn't really go back to the BMWs because the Jaguar has so much power and
Yeah.
is way faster. But it's good. I think the BMs are really good to learn the track and where to go, and then you can change the car and start to push and go faster and faster and faster. But yeah, just as a beginner, you don't need the fastest car on the grid to go. You need to learn the track first and all the basics and everything, and then you can start to build from there. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So then the Radicals you were saying for the Nations Cup, that'll be a completely different car than you've driven before,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, it's open. It's an open
Yeah.
wheeler. I haven't driven anything like that before, but I'm actually really excited because it's like a proper race car,
Yeah.
and yeah, I can imagine it's gonna be a lot of fun.
I'm sure it will be. The training days are going to be so exciting. I feel like you'll
Hmm.
be like a kid in a candy shop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably, yeah.
That's great. Um, I was also wondering what you feel has been one of your biggest accomplishments since you've become a female racing driver. Like, what's been, when you think of your career up until this point, what's been a very proud moment for you?
I think I thought about that earlier. I think when I received the email that I made it to the final 50, I was so excited. I started crying. I was like I was so happy and so relieved. It felt like I already won, even though I didn't. But it was like, well, I trained so long and so hard for it, and I was like, I never did anything like that. I'm completely new to this world. I did track days, I went karting, I went to the sim, I was working on my mental fitness and sponsoring and media and everything. And then I just received this mail that it said, "Oh, you made it to the final 50." And I knew quite a lot of girls that I met throughout the process, and they were like, "Oh, they didn't make it." And I'm just like, "Oh my god, I'm one of the 50 that actually made it." Out of, I don't know how many it was, because there was an assessment day in Australia, and one in America, and one in the UK. So
Wow.
I think it was something over 100. I don't know. When I was like, "Oh my god, I'm one of the 50, and I made it." That was like, I think so far one of the greatest accomplishments I had. And with that, the Nations Cup is connected to that finalist spot. So yeah, I'm really great with the outcome of that. Even though I didn't win the seat, but it's still great what opportunity I just reached with
Yeah.
being a finalist. Yeah.
That's so exciting. I can't even imagine opening an email like that. I feel like it's just everything, like you said, everything that you've worked for, every
Hmm.
hour of training you put in, every minute you put thinking of how much you love driving and how much better you want to
Exactly.
get. Like it
Hmm.
all kind of just came down to that moment where you were validated and like you proved you're meant to be there. You're meant to be doing that. So
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
major, yeah, that's a major accomplishment and
Hmm.
congratulations. You deserve it so much and
Thank you very
clearly
much.
you do so well too.
Thank you.
I also was looking at your LinkedIn, and it says that you're a registered operating room technician. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
can you walk me through that?
So many people know me as surgical technician.
Hmm.
So basically, I assist surgeons during surgery, and I prep everything before surgery and work around surgery, and after, like everything that has to do with surgery,
Hmm.
I'll manage that and take care of it and prep all the different patients and cases, and yeah, basically just work in the OR with surgeons and
Wow.
operating with them. Yeah.
How do you balance that and the racing? I feel like that is so busy.
So I only work part time
Okay.
because since 2022, I'm in school again.
Mhm.
So I go to school twice a week, Wednesday and Saturday, and then I work 3 days a week. And I usually, so I try to plan it like that on my days off, I was able to fly out to the UK and do my track day, and then I had to fly back in the evening, so I was back at work the next day. I always did it like that, but it's very like it was really hectic, and it didn't always work out. But it I think especially the time before the competition, I flew quite a lot of times, and it was really really time consuming and hectic and stressful, and I definitely felt that. But now I tone it down a bit, and I just plan everything in advance and just make sure that I can take those specific days off. But right now everything works out pretty well. Only
Right,
the racing days are usually a Saturday, and I have school on that day, and
right.
sometimes I have important exams and I can't miss them, and then it's I have to decide racing or exam. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only thing right now.
Well, good for you. I know that I'm sure that plays on your mind sometimes where it's like racing, school, but you have to kind of
Hmm.
like prioritize some things, and that's
Yeah,
challenging.
exactly.
I definitely feel that as well.
Yeah, exactly. But
Hmm.
my school actually is also like starting to be a bit more supportive. So
That's good.
you're allowed to miss some exams, and you just have to take them a week later. But you're allowed to miss three per semester. And then I went to the principal and I was like, okay, look, I'm doing this sport. I need a little bit help with that. And now, if there's like a big event that's really, really important and I have an exam that day, I just text him and be like, I need like an excuse for that day so I don't get written up. And he's like, all right, yeah, we can do that, but just don't miss too many exams. And I was like,
Yeah,
okay, that's good. But now I have like a little pass to do some more racing on weekends where I should be in school.
that's good. I think my last sort of question, I guess, that I would have
Mm-hmm.
would just be what advice do you have for other women looking to follow in your footsteps? Like, what do you think is kind of the first step for someone who wants to get into the racing world as a woman?
Just do it and don't overthink it too much. Because I remember I just signed up and I was like, where is that going to take me?
Mhm.
And if someone would have told me 3 years ago that I'm going to be sitting here in an interview and talking about my racing journey in the race I'm going to do in Dubai, I would have been like, what are you talking about? But just if you see the opportunity, just go and grab it and you won't regret it. I think you're going to regret it if you're not taking any chances you could get. And even though, like for me, I didn't really have anyone that has anything to do with racing, I'm literally number one in the family that is doing something like that.
Yeah.
And just go for it and you'll see where it takes you, if it's something for you, if it's not something for you. That cannot be the case as well. Maybe you're just more a fan than a driver. That's perfectly fine, but go ahead and take the shot and just do it.
I think that is the best advice. Sometimes it's so scary to put yourself out there and do it, but most of the time you don't regret it, and that's exactly what you've done here.
Exactly.
You're a perfect example of that, and I think you're going to inspire so many people when they see this and hear your story. And yeah, the Nations Cup is coming up, and you're going to be driving in that, and I'm sure you can't believe it, and it's going to be so great to kind of get that showcased and showcase your story and your racing story
Hmm.
and show the other 49 women who have worked so hard to get there as well.
Exactly.
But
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, I guess I guess you heard it here first. Just do it. Just sign up for it.
Just wait. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the best advice you can. Just go ahead and just do it.
Yeah.
You can worry about it later. Just do it.
Just do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think it's definitely easier when you're in Europe as well, and Formula Woman is based in the UK. So for anyone who wants to sign up there, that's kind of where most people can start. I don't know as well in North America what other kind of programs or like facilities there are for females to get into it, but things are definitely picking up. Like there's such a high level.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I think with this whole, I think we need to give some credit to Formula One actually, because with this Drive to Survive series on Netflix that aired, the sport like kickstarted so hard, like, and just like the awareness of motorsport like grew massively, and then the inclusion of female drivers as well, and so I think around the globe everyone is like more supporting of women. I think right now is like the perfect time to try and go out there and find your spot somewhere, because the support is so big right now.
It is so big, and yeah, everything is kind of like taking a step in the right direction in terms of incorporating women more into the motorsport world, and in many different series. And even now, like with Formula One, like you said, there's female commentators. It's definitely good. It's picking up. It's not there quite yet, but
yeah, but we're getting there, slowly but steady.
Exactly. Well, I think that was all that I had for today. Do you have any, I guess, last thoughts? Where can people find you? Do you have like a social media or anything, or where can people follow along on your journey?
So I'm active on Instagram and on LinkedIn. You just have to type in my name, but it's a quite difficult name. It's just my first name is Maral and my last name is Ghazarian. But yeah, that's how you can find me.
Perfect. I'll have it linked for sure. Thank you so much for your time. That was amazing. It was so great getting to know you, and your story is incredible, and I can't wait to continue following you along on your racing journey.
Thank you very much. It's very kind. Thanks for having me again. It was really great to get to know you as well. And yeah, I'm excited as well.